Balatro is a game that took the world by storm. It was the first indie game to be nominated for Game of the Year and showed other indie developers that the stars were not out of reach. Balatro has become a staple of roguelike deck builders and has changed gaming in a way that no one expected. But Balatro has also been a demonstration to other developers about knowing the worth of your product and not abusing addicting mechanics for monetary purposes. So, what makes Balatro so addicting? Balatro is a game that takes poker, grinds it into fine dust, laces it with some kind of forbidden game design stimulant, and injects it directly into your dopamine receptors. On the surface, it's cards. You match hands, get chips and multipliers, clear blinds. Simple, right? No. What Balatro actually is a high stakes, cerebral slot machine with a PhD in psychological warfare. It lures you in with familiar rules, and then absolutely body slams you with complexity, layering mechanic after mechanic like a Jenga tower made out of brainworms and raw ambition. You start with 52 cards and some chips. Then you win a few hands, feel good about yourself, and suddenly you're on blind 6 with four jokers in play, a planet card that triples your flushes, a spectral joker that deletes card from existence, and a full house that just gave you 800,000 points, and you don't even understand why. At its core, Balatro is a roguelike deck builder that's pretending to be a poker game, but calling it that is like saying Metal Gear Solid is just a stealth game. It's a game of absurd escalation, built on pushing your luck until the floor drops out, and you fall into an alternate dimension of score inflation, arcane synergies, and primal elation. It's poker if poker was designed by Gandalf. So let's break down the gameplay itself. You have a deck of standard playing cards. Your job is to create traditional poker hands, pairs of three of kinds, straight flushes, etc. Each successful hand earns you chips, which is the base score, and mult, the multiplier. Combine the two, and that's your score. Your goal each round is to meet or exceed a required number of points, which is called the blind, using a limited number of hands per round. So far, so normal. But then come the jokers, and these aren't the Batman kind. Jokers are passive modifiers that change how your hands work. One might add a 100 multiplier every time you play a heart. Another might double the chips on a pair of twos. One might let you delete your own cards. Another might just say, gain $5 for no reason, and call it a day. They range from mathematically vital to utterly stupid in the best way. But every joker has a purpose in one way or another, and some seem useless until later you discover its counterpart later on. Some increase your money, some increase your chips, multiplier, card chances, odds, and hand levels, while others can be applied to very specific circumstances. And these jokers, you can have 5 of them at a time. That seems like a lot, but in the end all be all, it's really not. Every joker has a purpose, and that means that maximizing the efficiency of these 5 slots is pivotal, or risk brutally flopping on the next blind. Mischoosing a joker early can put you in an eternal hole to oblivion. After buying a bad joker, you don't have enough money to buy a new one, and selling your old one will not give as much as it costs to buy. But Balatro has more than just one form of deck-defying cards. 2 others share the top bar of your screen along with the jokers, tarot cards and planet cards, which share a total of 2 slots until you unlock more. Tarot cards can warp your deck, transforming cards into many different types, giving you different numbers, suits, multipliers, extra tokens, and even jokers or planet cards. Speaking of planet cards, they are much more simple, but just as impactful, if not more, than tarot cards. Each planet card applies itself to a different poker hand, and when used can add levels to that specific hand. But picking which hands to level is very pivotal, especially early on as when you're preparing for the later game, as multipliers and chip numbers can reach the thousands if used properly. Each planet card applies itself and adds both a multiplier number and a base chip number, which increases as the level of the card type gets higher. But Balatro's deck building is not like Slay the Spires, where you meticulously select cards to build a strategic path. No, Balatro is like if Slay the Spire's deck building took Molly, downed through Red Bulls, and spun a roulette wheel for every decision. It's randomization, is what makes it more replayable than any other game of its kind. But randomness is also a weak point, as runs can feel chopped from the start if early game shop yields are not equitable, which can punish you later on due to a lack of choice. But you can't blame the game for what it is, but rather how they execute it. Your deck changes constantly. You buy and remove cards, you upgrade them, you duplicate them, you fuse them into mutated horrors like a bonus 10 of clubs with 4 auras, and the ability to whisper into the void. One second you're playing a full clean house build, the next you're burning your deck down and leaning into flushes that spawn infinite multipliers from spectral cards with angel wings. And somehow it all works. The chaos is chaos, but it is very tightly controlled. It's like Doom on ketamine and playing Go Fish. Everything is tightly executed, which allows you to gain control, besides the immense randomness. After each round, you get money. That money goes to the shop, which is the heart of the game and your mental collapse. You can even use jokers to multiply your money. The shop has 3 rotating items in it: jokers, tarot cards, and planet cards. Vouchers are different, very different than the other 3. They change the rules across the run and are unaffected when you reroll the shop. You draw extra cards, your discard limit goes up. These aren't just bonuses, they're build defining run modifiers. Each one pushes your strategy in a new direction and nudges your entire playstyle into something different, unstable, and glorious. But some are useless, like the card that does nothing, and I mean nothing. No pluses, no minuses, no negatives, just nothing. But Balatro is not easy. The game starts like a friendly card match and then hits you like a truck when you realize that just playing poker will not save you. No, you have to play Balatro the Balatro way, which is no way. This means min maxing scoring potential, learning when to hold back just because your Joker bonus isn't active yet, and burning good hands just to fish for better multipliers. Every run eventually smashes into blinds that outscale you, unless you get creative, unless you optimize, unless you go fully Jimmy Neutron Brain Blast. And that's where the magic happens. Balatro isn't just about reacting, it's about constructing momentum, building an engine straight from Mad Max of points that scale exponentially with every hand. Your power curve goes from cute to criminal in about 20 minutes if you play your cards right. You start trying to hit 1,500 points per hand, and by round 8, you're disappointed when your hand only does 500,000. You become desensitized to scoring in the same way we all got numb to Borderlands loot numbers. And just like that, you're addicted. Visually, Balatro is stupidly charming. It's retro, it's chunky, it's CRT filled pixel art that perfectly mirrors its arcade roguelike meets casino chaos vibe. The cards look like they were pulled from a neon lit 1980s poker den. The music, jazzy, sleazy, and laced with just the right amount of casino energy. It's not a melodic standout like Cuphead's Barbershop Quartet, but it gets under your skin and creates the perfect audio illusion of confidence, luck, and madness. The menus flicker, the sound effects pop. The whole thing has a hypnotic slot machine buzz to it. Everything in Balatro wants you to keep going. One more round, one more joker, one more combo. You'll look up and realize hours have passed and you haven't blinked since you started. Let's be honest, Balatro abuses your brain chemistry in the best way possible. It taps into the thrill of randomness, the satisfaction of strategy, and the sheer joy of watching numbers explode. It weaponizes restraint. Do I cash in my flush now, or wait one more turn for the 3 times Joker bonus? Do I buy this Joker that gives chips to the jacks, or save money for a planet? Do I burn a card now, or risk falling behind? Every decision feels weighty. Every move is deliberate or reckless, depending on how sleep deprived you are. And when you lose, you immediately queue up another run. No hesitation. You saw the potential, you glimpsed God. You almost became a poker deity. But Balatro does not make the mistake of other roguelikes that dive into one aspect of the genre rather than attempting to use them all. Rather than choose pure randomness or complete control, Balatro chooses something in between. Balatro is centered around randomness, but by learning the game, you can gain incredible control over the flow. Alright, Let's talk flaws, because there is some, but few. There is a lot of randomness, especially early on when you're stuck with bad hands and praying for a decent joker. Some runs feel bricked before they begin, and once you unlock red jokers and spectral cards, early runs can feel sluggish in comparison. The UI, well stylized, can sometimes bury very important information underneath filters and effects. It's possible to miss huge multipliers or misunderstand a combo because the text didn't explain it properly. And yes, if you don't like numbers going up or you don't like chaos, if you need a rigid form factors, this game will overwhelm you. Also, co op doesn't exist. I don't even know what that would look like, some kind of shared hand holding tournament of madness, but it's worth noting for people who want to suffer with a friend. Balatro is unfiltered, high octane precision chaos in game form. It pretends to be about cards, but it's really about temptation, about snowballing your power, about discovering wild synergies, and building god tier scoring engines that reduce bosses to ash. It's a masterclass in engagement game design, a game that understands just how much to feed you, how much to tease you, and how to keep you riding that high of near wins and improbable victories. There's no filler, no grind, no fake difficulty, just a brutal, brilliant system that rewards the bold and crushes the hesitant. Also, the developers themselves are great, and they refuse to sell it to casinos who wanted to monetize the game and introduce it to casinos to delve dads wearing Bitcoin button ups and drinking virgin pina coladas at 50 into a deeper stage of gambling addiction. I give Balatro 5 royal flushes, 2 flaming spectral jokers, and a single tear of joy. Alright, bye bye.